working in 9 counties throughout the state to make the state of Pennsylvania and the city of Philadelphia a city and a state with economic and racial justice on a livable planet. So just trying to break all that down so y'all know who we are here. And with me this morning, sitting in for the vacationing Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler, is Tawanda Stallworth. Tawanda, how you doing today?
Good morning, Bishop. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. I am glad that you are here with me. And the person that holds it all together, keeps us on the air, make sure that we know what we are supposed to be doing, when we are supposed to be doing it, making sure that we honor all of our contractual agreements, is Kawesa.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, that's that Thursday morning. Good morning. It's like, yeah, we only got one more day here. Yes, I am very happy to be here. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and thank God for that, because I only got like maybe 2.5 hours of sleep last night. I don't know what I was doing.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. But I'm here. It's like that so tired that you're like loopy, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at right now.
I understand.
But yeah, so.
How was your ride in?
Ooh, my ride in today was not super great. So, of course, you know, everyone knows that it might have sprinkled in a few sections. So the first thing I want to tell people is to be careful as you're driving. You know, you might not see a big puddle of water, you know, but just kind of take it slowly on some of those turns. So that's just some advice this morning as you're driving. The second and third parts of my drive in, well, the first part was that, well, the second part, excuse me. I was driving, you know, just minding my own business. And you know how you're like in a lane behind someone and they're going just fast enough to match the speed of the person in the other lane? And they're both going
Yes.
slow enough where you
Yes.
can't pass either one of them.
I hate that.
Yeah. That was a little rough. So that happened. And then when I got into Philly, I'm driving and I have one-way, you know, streets that I'm going down. So I'm going, you know, in one direction and the other cars are coming, you know, in the opposite direction in the other lane. As I'm driving, I'm like, wow, you know, those headlights are looking mighty close. And I realized that someone is driving on the wrong side of the road coming directly towards me. I just like swerve off the road a little bit so that I wouldn't get hit. So I got a little rattled this morning, but I made it by the grace of God. Like, people are just out here driving crazy. So, but I made it and it was all good. They realized, I guess when they saw my headlights coming, they were like, oh shoot, I'm in the wrong lane. But I was like, wow, why are they like, they look mighty close. What's going on? And then I realized, oh, you're in my lane and they're going in the wrong direction. So that was my drive in. But I will tell everyone that there is a nice, like, stormy breeze, you know, like that nice, like, kind of calm before the storm. I don't know what's going to happen out there, but it has that nice, like, you know, rainy wind kind of deal. It's not rain, but it's just, I can't explain it, but it's a nice little breeze. So I'm going to hold on to that positivity this morning. It's nice and breezy.
I mean, was it after the storm or before the storm? Because I mean, we had about 5 hours of thunderstorms here. So I don't know. I mean, it was bad. I was like, geez, this is never going to seem to stop. The thunder and lightning just kept coming and coming and coming. Because normally a thunderstorm kind of blows through. It just kept going. I was like, wow, is this going to end at some point?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, for us, I mean, well, I'm on the Jersey side, and so, but we typically get similar weather, like, you know, from what's going.
The National Weather Service has issued a flood warning for Mercer County, New Jersey, plus the following Pennsylvania counties: Bucks and Philadelphia. Effective until 9:09 a.m. The National Weather Service in Mount Holly has issued a flood warning for South Central Mercer County in central New Jersey, southeastern Bucks County in southeastern Pennsylvania, northeastern Philadelphia County in southeastern Pennsylvania. Until 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 6:09 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Doppler radar and automated rain gauges indicated heavier rain fell across the warned area overnight. The rain has ended, and conditions will continue to gradually improve. However, some road closures remain in place, and some small streams and creeks may still be out of their banks. Residual flooding will continue at least through mid-morning. Some locations that will experience flooding include Philadelphia, Trenton, Bensalem, Burlington, Bristol, Beverly, Yardley, Tullytown, Langhorne, Levittown, Langhorne, and Florence-Roebling. This includes the following highways: Pennsylvania Turnpike between mile markers 351-359, Interstate 95 in Pennsylvania between mile markers 27 and 40. Interstate 295 W Jersey between mile markers 58 and 61. Interstate 195 W Jersey between mile markers 0 and 1. Precautionary/preparedness actions. Turnaround, Untitled Round 1, encountering flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur in vehicles.
80 miles an hour or more and get pulled over, it's not just a speeding ticket. It's also considered a criminal violation. And so I'm like, yeah, we are not. So, I will get up on that edge, but, if you're moving faster than that, I'm letting you go, because if you get pulled over, that's going to jail. So,
I have real problems with that left lane and not passing, because that's what it's for.
That's
So
right.
if you're not doing that, you're actually wrong. So on my way back from Jersey last week, the Pennsylvania just so folks in Philly know, the Pennsylvania Turnpike actually does come down this way. Like, 76 76 continues on down, and it's 2 lanes.
Right.
And traffic was really thick, and there was a lot of traffic in this passing lane, and we weren't going any faster than like 68, and everyone's stuck over here, and it's awful. Finally, like 2 cars behind me, there was a Pennsylvania state trooper, and I'm like, he's got to see this is ridiculous. Like, this is not working the way that it's designed to work. So eventually he turns on his lights and starts thinning out the left lane. So everybody, of course, gets over because the state trooper has his lights on, and it worked because everyone had to get over because the state trooper had. So what I did is, when he passed me, I jumped back over and got behind him. So then I had like a...
You didn't stay on his tail or anything. You just kind of gave him some room.
No, it was a respectful distance. And then other people tried to like get in between me and the state trooper and then go slow again. And I'm like, nope, you're not doing that. And I had to go around them.
You got to block them from jumping back in the lane.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it's very dangerous for people to sit out in that left lane. And I don't think they realize the danger. Because if I have to pass you on the right, I'm passing you on a side that you can't see me as well.
Right.
That's a huge pet peeve of mine.
It's a pet peeve of mine as well. I'm like, look, if you can't move fast, you have a right to be on the road. You just don't have a right to be in the left lane. Just
No.
Get out. Get out.
No. If you're not passing or actively passing, then please get over, because it really makes for driving conditions to be unsafe.
That was so kind of you to say that.
I try.
That was very sensitive. I'm like, move. Just get out of the way. Just move. I have my moments. Y'all forgive me. The Lord forgives me. He still loves me. Thank you.
Always.
All right. So, hey, so just some exciting news that I just learned late last night, that we're going to have a Black Captain America. So this is a Black nerd alert. So Captain America and Captain America 4 coming out in Marvel, which probably won't come out to 2023 because they have a whole series of movies coming out between now and then. Anthony Mackie, who was the Falcon and who also played in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and played Captain America in that, is now slated to actually become the next Captain America. So we will have a Black Captain America. And it should be very interesting to see how this all plays out. I'm very excited about that. It is one of the things that I've appreciated about Marvel is that they've really worked in strong black characters and black roles, and so I'm hoping that this continues that that theme from Black Panther, and you got Storm early on, and other characters that they've had. I know that DC Comics have tried to do Cyborg and some others as strong black characters, but Marvel seems to be taking the cake right now, and has also created some very strong black female characters as well in Marvel. So I'm very excited to see how this plays out in the days and weeks to come. I don't know if you follow Marvel like that. I'm a Marvel fanatic.
I don't. So Black Panther was my first and only Marvel movie.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
I was afraid that was going to happen. I was afraid. I know.
Wait, there've been 25 Marvel movies.
I know.
And you've only seen Black Panther? Oh, Tawanda. Oh, Tawanda.
Because I'm in the middle.
I see Mama Hunter's watching. I'm like, Mama Hunter, what happened?
She had me. We were at church all the time. So all we've ever done is go to church. So I didn't get a lot of Marvel exposure, but I have appreciated the blackness of Marvel in recent years. I wonder though, when I read that, I thought, is there going to be anything distinct about this Captain America that is different than the white Captain Americans? Like, so I'm thinking of like kids in their Halloween costumes. How can they dress up as the black Captain America and not?
It keeps slightly changing the uniform though. So every Marvel comic, every movie comes out, the uniform changes slightly, and they also change the shield slightly too. So it could be. I look vaguely at the picture with the new uniform on it. So I don't know fully what the new uniform is going to look like. So I'm sure there'll be some differences in the uniform.
Maybe this
would be no. I'm pretty
Instead of this is why I don't watch. See, this is why. This is why I have good ideas for Marvel. Like instead of the star, a fist. That doesn't work.
I would love to see a fist on there. That would be very interesting. And when the Star Spangled Banner plays, he just takes a knee. That would be fascinating.
There we go. See, this is what I'm talking about. That
would be absolutely fascinating. But I don't know for sure what's happening with it. Yeah, I think one of the things that happens with Marvel that I think has been helpful, Ta-Nehisi Coates and they've actually kind of really, like when they did Black Panther, they were also using a lot of Afrofuturism. I saw that Raphael was pointing that out. And they were really taking a lot from Octavia Butler. And so I'm actually trying to find a sort of Octavia Butler scholar, because I would really love to get them on the show. I'm trying to do Black Nerd Week next week. And so if I can find an Octavia Butler scholar. For those that don't know, Octavia Butler was the first African-American woman to write serious science fiction, fantasy work, and won a myriad of awards around this, including some awards that were exclusively almost going to all white men. This was back in the late 70s, early 80s. She died, unfortunately, at a very young age, but she had these two books in particular, A Parable of the Sower, Parable of the Talents, and Parable of the Sower. Actually, if you read those books, you would be like, oh my God, this is modern day America. Including people used to criticize her because there was this overemphasis on guns in her books. And if you actually take a look at what's going on right now, I mean, she actually predicted Trump. I mean, it was almost like she was like the black female Nostradamus. But, there was a way she kind of predicted all these things. She said there would be a president whose theme was "Make America Great Again." And there would be the super Christian. I mean, it was really kind of deep. When you go back and read these books and you're looking at them, you're like, whoa, this could be modern America. There were very much pieces of it that were like that. So I would dare say that they when they actually did Black Panther, they were taking from some of her writings and some of the things that she was doing and making an Afrofuturistic future.
I haven't read Parable of the Sower, but I have read I think it's Monica Coleman's work, a womanist scholar that dives into Parable of the Sower. So she might be someone worth taking a look at to unpack some Octavia Butler work.
Earthseed.
I can't think of that book, but it's in one of these shelves around here.
I got you. Well, you got to read Parable of the Talent, Parable of the Sower. It will actually blow your mind. It will blow your mind. Very powerful writing. Well, look, we are up on our first break. Nikki O. Tim says, Tawanda, I'm with you. I've only seen Black Panther. All right. You all do not have nerd cards. I'm just letting you all know that now. Y'all trying to take my black card because I don't eat macaroni and cheese and all this other stuff. Y'all, I thought this was, the blurred class. Karen, I got you. I'm going to put her name in the comments, Octavia Butler, so you all can find her. Bernita Francine says, read all her books. Absolutely. Fascinating books. I'm actually working on Kindred right now, which is another one of her books. All right, folks, we'll be back. We got a lot of news to get to, and so we want to be able to spend some time talking about that. You're listening to the Power Hour with Dwayne Royster and Tawanda Stallworth on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. We'll be right back.
Build skills needed for employment through the Philadelphia Skills Forward Initiative, a free upskilling program for workers displaced by the pandemic, those whose jobs are at risk for automation, and Black and brown workers. Complete courses focused on digital literacy, career management, and professional skills for a successful career. Get started today at chamberphl.com.
Did you hear the word around the community? HPP and HPF's very own Stacey Scott will be reporting live from WURD, 96.1 FM and 900 AM each and every fourth Sunday of the month from 5 p.m. until 6 p.m. Be sure to spread the word and tune in. Want to call in and be a part of the community party? Email Stacey Scott at scott@hpplans.com. Again, that is scott@hpplans.com.
You know that feeling? Like every door is closing and you just can't see a way out? Being unemployed, underemployed, or just out of school can feel like that. But when you find the right tools, suddenly everything just clicks. FindSomethingNew.org offers resources that help develop new skills. Skills that can position you for careers in today's growing industries, from healthcare and manufacturing to cybersecurity and alternative energy. Find your path to a new career at FindSomethingNew.org. A message from the Ad Council.
The WURD Radio Newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio Newsletter. You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Join WURD Radio on Thursday, August 26th for our annual Founders Day celebration, honoring the life and legacy of our founder, Walter P. Lomax, Jr., MD. This year, we'll feature a special live broadcast from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at a street naming ceremony for Dr. Lomax at 1800 Wharton Street, the site of his first medical center. The day will also include a series of virtual panels and conversations exploring health, wealth, and independent media. And there's a special Founders Day membership discount. Join and renew today for just $80 and help us continue Dr. Lomax's legacy by supporting progressive Black Talk Media. For more information, go to wordradio.com and click on the Founders Day banner. We look forward to seeing you on Thursday, August 26th. That's next Thursday. So come on out, y'all, and let's celebrate Founders Day together and celebrate Dr. Lomax's legacy and his continuing impact through his family, his children, and the work of WURD Radio here in the city of Philadelphia. Hey, Kawesa, quick question. How many Marvel films have you seen?
Oh, I've seen all of them.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. Tawanda, you might have to, go get Disney Plus or something like that and go and sit and watch all of the movies so you can get caught up.
And how many movies would that be?
Oh, it's over 20.
So it's going to take a while.
It's gonna take a while. Yeah, a few weeks. But you'll catch. If you do one a night, you'll be good. You can catch up in like 2-3 weeks.
A movie during the week? Ooh.
Yeah, you need a break at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'd just take a nap.
Okay.
I don't want
That's.
to fall asleep on the movie. I feel like that would be disrespectful.
I hear you. I hear you. All right. Well, let's. I hear you. I hear you. Let's get to some more serious stuff here for a minute, if we can. So there was actually this op-ed piece in the Griot that I wanted to lift up. That was talking about Afghanistan, and we always talk about in this particular moment, follow Black women, follow the leadership of Black women. Back in 2001, when there was a vote to go into Afghanistan, there was one congressperson who had the courage to say no. One congressperson. That congressperson is Congresswoman Barbara Lee from California, who urged us not to go into Afghanistan and was saying, wait, we're doing this out of emotion. We need to think about what we're doing and make sure that we're being deliberate and that we're handling this, and that she said this war would not get us what we needed. It was almost like she was being prophetic.
Mm-hmm.
She said this war is not going to get us what we want. It's not going to get us the resolve that we want out of all of it. And 20 some odd years later, as we are now pulling out of Afghanistan, Barbara Lee's words have come true. And actually, lately, if you would notice, there has been people have been playing back Barbara Lee's no vote to going into Afghanistan. A lot of the news media have gone back to that. Some of her speeches, it was the joint resolution number 64 in 2001, and that she was addressing and speaking to. And I just think that it's important. Let me just say some of the words that she said. September 11th changed the world. Our deepest fears now haunt us. Yet I'm convinced that military action will not prevent further acts of international terrorism against the United States. This is a very complex and complicated matter. Now, this resolution will pass, although we all know that the president can wage a war even without it.
Mm-hmm.
However difficult this vote may be, some of us must urge the use of restraint. Our country is in a state of mourning. Some of us must say, let's step back for a moment. Let's just pause, just for a minute, and think through the implications of our actions today so that this does not spiral out of control. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And she was threatened. People called her out. They called her all kinds of names. They threatened her life and the life of her family because she did not want us to go quickly into a war environment. This is painful to have to go back and revisit this and remember that the lone voice trying to prevent the loss of lives, thousands of lives, tens of thousands of lives, not just American lives, but Afghani lives as well, was a Black woman by the name of Barbara Lee. Your thoughts?
Okay. I think, what really stands out for me is she says, and it was true, that we don't need this the president doesn't need this to go to war. This is just kind of, this is just extra.
Mm-hmm.
And that really speaks to the emotion that was in the country at that time. I was trying to think, so I would have been in my early 20s and not really paying attention to politics or to the news. And I was trying to think like where my thought and mind was. Probably I didn't want my brother to go to war. So I can't remember what my thoughts would have been around this at the time that it was happening, but I appreciate this article taking us back and saying, hey, remember, someone warned against this.
One person spoke out,
One.
just one.
Yeah. And that's remarkable. I think we need more of that, right? More of this Sankofa, right? Looking back at where we've come from and who were the prophets that we ignored. I think that helps to bolster the prophetic witness of those today who cry out in the wilderness, right? So that there's more evidence of standing alone doesn't mean that you're wrong. Standing alone doesn't mean that you're not on. Clearly, she was on point. She knew that one, this isn't going to do it, and two, this is an emotional reaction. And as emotional reactions go, they don't have a foundation. They don't have a plan.
Right.
They don't have anything solid, right? So we're just going to go do this, and then we'll just make it up as we go along, right? And she's saying, I'm afraid this is what's going to happen, and that's what happened. So trust Black women, believe Black women. We've got some wisdom just from life experience. We got it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also, you know, I think that there is a way, you know, I go back and I'm thinking about like womanist thought and ideology. And, you know, there's both womanist thought that is Christian theology, and there's also womanist thought that is not, it's outside of that space. But, you know, there's always a sense that womanists, when they're coming through, are coming through with the sense of not just thinking about themselves, but also thinking about their children and community.
Sure.
And I actually had the chance to study womanist theology at the foot of the woman who started womanist theology, Katie Cannon. And so she was teaching this semester at Lutheran Seminary, and I took it years ago.
Wow.
In the 1990s, I took this class.
Wow.
Early on, before there was a whole plethora of womanist scholars. And one of the things that I imagine, and, you know, I don't know, I met Congresswoman Lee once or twice, but, you know, part of this is when you think about sending folk to war, you imagine your own children going to war.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You imagine the children that will be lost in a war,
Mm-hmm.
other people's children that will be lost in a war, innocents that are lost in a war.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, part of what I hear her saying in all of this is, you know, we're getting ready to respond out of emotion. It's sort of like a gang retaliatory attack when it's, you know, one of its members is shot, then, oh, we're going to go back and shoot somebody. She's like, stop for a minute. Let's be rational, think through this, and figure out what is the best way to strategize and to deal with this, not respond out of deep emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was, you know, that's very powerful and courageous for her to stand up and say that. And I think that that's really a big, important part of you know, her legacy. And she eventually became the chairwoman of the Congressional Black Caucus, and continues to serve in Congress, even though people have threatened and said she was going to lose her seat. Her people were like, no, we're good. No, we're good. Y'all can do what you want with your Congress leaders, but our congressional leaders staying right here. And so really grateful for her continuing to have that fight.
Yeah, so that womanist angle is very profound. Looking back at her remarks, that aspect of community is really strong for womanism. That even if I don't have biological children, but I'm giving thought to children going to school because they are our children.
That's right.
This thought of I think the Kiswahili word is Ubuntu, right? This like collective community, like we're in this together, that what we do impacts one another. The decisions that we make, whether or not we are directly impacted or have direct connection to them, the decisions that we make affect the sum of all of us. So that aspect of community, I think, is really at the heart of where she was coming from. And unfortunately, people don't think like that.
Right.
I think that's, we can look at the pandemic and see that people don't have that concept of we're in this together, and that our children belong to all of us, and that these are our neighbors, not just your neighbors and my neighbors, that we're all in this together. But I really appreciate that concept of womanism in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that don't know, womanism comes out of Alice Walker's book, The Color Purple, which talked about women becoming womanish. And it's, it's a whole theory, ideology around how people look at the world. So just wanted to share that because people might be like, I know feminist, I don't know womanist. And so we want to be able to explain that. And then Dr. Katie Geneva Cannon, who's really the mother of Christian womanism, really just kind of took it and made it a very powerful way of being able to view God and view community and view the scripture text. And there's a whole I don't want to say department or genre, or there's a whole school of thought around womanism and the Christian faith and other faiths too. So just wanted to share that so people understood what that is. Very, very powerful. It's another person you've got to read if you ever get a chance, Dr. Katie Geneva Cannon. What I loved about Dr. Cannon, even as I'm thinking about Barbara Lee, is that Dr. Cannon wrote for her community and not the academy. And the academy used to give her grief about that. But she said, theology has to be available to the masses.
Sure.
And she actually wrote a book called Katie's Canon, which is one of her main texts. And we were in the class, and I remember sitting in the class listening to this powerful Black woman. And I'm in my 20s at the time, very impressionable. One of my good friends is actually one of her PhD students, which is how I got introduced to her at the time. And just as folksy and home, and I was like, this is different, I'm accustomed to these formal professors coming in, pontificating, loudly and all this stuff. And, she was teaching us about her writing style and, how she thinks, and just really, she's like, I write so that anybody can read my books and understand what I'm talking about. And that was profound. That was the power of a Black woman that was going to, in a time frame when Black women were not leaders in theological education, who would come back and just be like, I'm going to do this for my people. I'm not doing it for the academy. Mm-hmm. And you might criticize me, you might not want to, but I'm going to do this for my people. And then be able to speak that powerful truth, especially for Black women. We're sorry we lost her just a few years ago. She went home to be with the Lord, but very powerful teacher and leader. So really just appreciating both Congresswoman Barbara Lee, who continues to be in office, and thank God for her witness to do that. And I have to admit that back when we took the vote, I was like, no, let's go bomb them, the whole 9 yards. But that was a thing, and I was mad and angry and operating out of emotion. I think a lot of us were. Mm-hmm. But look at somebody who was just able to be rational and say, we might not want to do that.
Well, and womanism, just the, taking it a step further is, so feminism is to womanism as lavender is to purple, right? So it's a deeper feminism that is not able to separate its femininity from its Blackness, and looking at that even deeper, that she was saying what she had to say because nobody else was going to say it, right? Like nobody else was going to give thought to this. Nobody else was in a position to be that prophetic. No one else has that life experience like a womanist to be able to separate their emotion from the business at hand, right? Black women have historically in this country have had to separate the emotion of losing their husbands, losing their partners, losing their children, losing their humanity through violence, through assault, through rape, and still had to get up and go to work in the morning and provide for their families, still had to get up and take care of business. Still had to. That experience in this country is unique to Black women, and it speaks to the womanist experience. That even though I'm emotional, and even though I have, because we've been called emotional, we've been told we're too emotional, so we've been trained how to divorce our behavior from our emotions, right? We've been impugned because we haven't been able to divorce our emotions. So whenever an emotional situation is in front of us, we're the ones that can say, hey, hold on, this looks like something I've seen before in my own life, where I've made an emotional reaction and where I know I cannot afford to make an emotional reaction because the consequences of that are detrimental for an entire community of people. And I think that again, it speaks to the womanist experience that we've had to go on in the face of so many awful things in our country, and we've had to do what we had to do. So shout out Barbara Lee.
There you go, Barbara Lee and Katie Cannon and so many others that have led the way for us so that we could get to this moment we're in right now. All right, we're up on a break, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Tawanda, for sharing all that with us, too. That was really powerful. You're listening to the Power Hour on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. We'll be right back.
Stage Door, focusing on arts and culture in and around Philadelphia. Hosted by Tiffany Bacon and co-moderated by Jeffrey Page of the Philadelphia Theater Company. Part of The Source, Fridays at noon, exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com, the WURD Radio app, or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. Sponsored by New Voices sponsor Comcast, NBC Universal, and Pico.
Join WURD for the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year, we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, North, West, and South Philly. I'm Tiffany Bacon. I'll broadcast live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. Our next and final stop is West Oak Lane at the West Oak Lane Senior Center, 7210 Ogons Avenue. Win concert tickets, meet special guests, and stand with WURD. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the Black community. Come show your support and join or renew your WURD membership on site. That's the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour at the West Oak Lane Senior Center from 10 a.m. until 12 noon on Friday, August 20th. WURD, showing love this summer.
The WURD Radio Neighborhood Love Tour is sponsored by Comcast and supported by Pico, Keystone First, and Ready Set Philly.
Thinking about retirement? Make sure a My Social Security account is a part of your plan. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can find out if you're eligible to receive benefits, compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates, view spousal benefit estimates, and more. Plan for your future. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you Mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Want the latest in WURD swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about Black. Talk Media. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Discover. Some volume building on the Schuylkill Expressway westbound around a curve to Conshohocken eastbound. Not a bad ride as of yet. A little slow though from the Blue Route through the Conshohocken curve. Disabled tractor trailer now being worked on in that area. Now looking at the Vine Expressway westbound Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. A bit of a backup. Southbound 95 getting jammed from Cottman through Bridge. Again, Betsy Ross through Girard. Busy northbound side. No issues there so far. 55 northbound building north of Deptford into 42. Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year. It's amazing because Discover is accepted at 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Dwayne Royster along with special guest co-host Tawanda Starworth. We're glad to be able to be here with you today. Shout out to Mama Hunter, Tawanda's mama, who was out there watching us early this morning. So appreciate you being here with us. And thank you to everybody that's checking us out on Facebook and YouTube. And, you know, some of the names I can see: Nikki Tim, Catfish Hillbilly 1, Joanne Kemp is out there, Fee Coleman, Nikki Tim, and all you that are coming to hang out with us on YouTube. And there are a plethora of names I saw earlier. One of our state reps, Derisha Parker, that was out there. And I see Sheila Washington Booker is out there today. I see Bernita Francine, Raphael Suleiman, Renee Mills. I saw Deacon Malika Walls out there from Washington, D.C., Kenesha Chatham, Mabel Wellborn, and so many others that are there. And forgive me, sometimes when I'm on my computer or phone and I leave Facebook and come back, I lose comments, and so I can't always see who is out there. But we appreciate each and every one of you, even if you didn't hear your name called this morning. And if you didn't hear your name, you want to get a quick shout out, just pop in there and say hello so I can see you again, and we'll be glad to acknowledge you and your presence. And thank you for watching the Power Hour here with us every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. We're going to open up the phone lines for a few minutes, so if you want to give us a call in, 215-634-8065. Again, 215-634-8065. Now, I did want to get to this one other news piece today because I love people's imagination and creativity. And so for folk that did not know, Greg Abbott, who is the governor of Texas, who now has coronavirus, decided that it was illegal for school districts in Texas to have a mask mandate. And so Paris School District, which is right out about 100 miles outside of Dallas, decided that they were going to, instead of having a mask mandate, they were just going to write mask into their dress code so that the school requires everybody to wear a mask because it's a part of their dress code as a way of getting around the mask mandate. So they have uniforms of what they're supposed to wear, and now they just add a face mask to that. I thought that was very creative, and I was like, yes, that was a very powerful move right there, in a way to get around all the nonsense of the Greg Abbotts and the Ron DeSantises of the world, who are trying to get people infected with coronavirus, because that's basically what they're doing by not being responsible leaders and making sure that people actually do social distance, to are wearing face masks. So a deep appreciation to the folk in Paris School District today who have decided to find a way. I tell my daughters all the time, there's more than one way to do everything. Mm-hmm. There's more than one way to do everything. You just have to have some imagination and some creativity to be able to work around it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, this is really cool. So,
vest, polo shirt, khakis, mask, like this. Yes.
All part of the dress
together.
Code.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a big district. They only have 4,000 students. But they said the Texas governor does not have the authority to usurp the Board of Trustees' exclusive power and duty to govern and oversee the management of the public schools of the district. Nothing in the governor's Executive Order 38 state he has suspended Chapter 11 of the Texas Education Code, and therefore the board has elected to amend its dress code consistent with its statutory authority. Boom! I love it. I love it. That is absolutely powerful. Drop the mic on that one.
Right. Yeah.
And, they said later on that students will be given mask breaks throughout the day, probably when they go outside and, like recess or lunch period or whatever. And that they will revisit this periodically. But, I'm like, hey, right now with the Delta variant, 4,000 children across the country are in the hospital because of COVID-19, Delta variant. 400 have died. Yeah, we need to do something. We talked about it yesterday. There's a school district down in Hillsborough, school district down in Florida. 8,000 students are either infected or are in quarantine because they were around somebody infected at school that has coronavirus. You think we need some face masks? We need some social distancing? Absolutely.
Well, and children are, they're children. So, encouraging them to social distance and not touch each other, and like that's really a tall ask anyway.
Yeah.
So the masks really are needed because they're kids. And I've seen, in my previous position how kids will do what you ask them to do, but at the end of the day, they're going to be kids. And when it's time for them to run around together, that they want to catch up with each other and touch things, and don't always want to hit that hand sanitizer just because they don't. That's why they're kids. We're the adults. They're counting on us to keep them safe and to provide them tutelage and to train them up in the ways that they should go. And when we fail to do that, I feel like that's like a dereliction of duties, just as an adult. Like, forget the fact that you have your own kids or that you're raising children, or like you're of a certain age, so you have a duty to be an example in some ways.
Absolutely. I think, there's an African proverb, it takes a whole village to raise a child. Well, the children are in a neglectful situation because the adults are not caring anything about them. And I think that's a real problem. That's a real problem. The Maasai, when they greet one another, and they ask each other their question, like we say hello or what's up, and they say, how are the children? How are the children? And I think that this is the question that we have to consider right now. How are the children? Thank you to our Maasai siblings and ancestors for reminding us that our world should be focused around our children in some ways. And so how are the children? If the children are not well, then oftentimes it's because the adults are not doing well and they're not thinking right. And when we have children in the state that they're in right now, we should be crying out and sparing not to do everything we can to help save them and to help them be safe and healthy and whole at this particular moment in time. So,
I haven't had the conversation with my own mother, but I'm interested. I'll give her a call later today. I'm interested to see what her response would be. Would I be going to school? Would I be homeschooled? Would she? She'd probably be leading some sort of protest so that everyone in my class would wear masks or something like that. I think about, what's that mean? I don't think it's, an easy decision to even send your children back to school. As I said yesterday, we've got a lot to figure out when it comes to how we educate our children. And it doesn't seem like we're making the advances that we should make with the money that we should be spending, and with the technological advances of this 21st century. So the response to that question in the Maasai greeting is that the children are well. And if that's not the response, then there's some fixing that has to happen. There's some work that has to be done, and not like some work that we just acknowledge, like, yeah, we really need to fix that bridge, or yeah, we really need to need to fix the roof on that school. It means that's the problem. Now pull up, like, get on your boots and go do that before you do anything else, right? That has to now become the priority. And we forget that when it comes to our children, that if we don't do right by them now, we're not going to be in good shape later.
That's right. Well, thank you, Tawanda, for that. And thank you for everything you did on the show today. We appreciate you being here with us all week, and will be with us also next week as well. Thank you, Quaser, for holding down the boards, keeping everything going. Thank you to everybody that's listened to us today through the various means by which you have caught us, whether it's on the air or through social media or through apps or by whatever, even if it's Alexa. Hey, Alexa, turn on WURD Radio. Listen, stay tuned now for Wake Up with WURD with Solomon Jones. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in news, happenings around Philadelphia, and, of course, our opinions. Now, family, do us a favor. Go out. Change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.